Hello, class, and welcome to part one of the Chapter 6 sample problems. I'm going to walk through the very first example of an inventory unit flow from the first question. So the first part of the question is on this video, and the weighted average method will start up on the next video. So we have a company that has been asked, they need to calculate their cost of goods sold and their gross profit using the FIFO inventory costing method. Now, quick review here, the FIFO method, which hopefully you've already watched the video. If you haven't, please go watch the short video introducing the FIFO method that has been posted. The FIFO method means that we cost out our inventory based on the first items that we purchased, right? So let me just show a couple things here. So at the beginning of the period, we have 16 tires here valued at $65 each. So that means that the total cost for this inventory is equal to the 16 tires times the $65 price per unit for a total of $1,040. And we're going to walk through a flow to track what inventory we have and how it's moving through the system here. And they were kind enough to give us a little template to do this in. So I'm going to slide this up here. So first thing we want to do here is on May 1st, we're starting off with 16 tires, cost of $65, total value of $1,040. All right. Next, we're purchasing 10 tires at $78 each. So we're going over into the purchases column here. 10 tires, $78, 10 times 78 is $780. So now we have two layers of inventory here. All right, we've got the original inventory, and then we've got the new inventory that we just purchased. All right, so that's what we have sitting here. So the total value at this point then is the original 10,040, plus the 780. So total of $1,820 between these two, okay? Now, next we are going to sell 12 tires, all right? But what unit cost are we assigning? Well, under the first in, first out method, we go to the top to our oldest items here, which we paid $65 for, all right? So first in, first out means the oldest stuff, the stuff that got here first, is the first stuff that we're going to charge to cost of goods sold. So 12 times 65 gives us $780. All right, so that's the cost of the goods we have left. So we started out with 16 tires in this cost layer. We just sold 12, so that leaves us 4 left, okay, at $65. So 130, $260. So 4 times 65 means we have 260 left in that layer, and we still have this entire second layer that we haven't touched yet. Okay, now we're going to purchase some more inventory here. So 14 tires at $80 each. So that gives us 14 times 80 is 1,120. So now we've got 3 layers sitting here. We've got the 4 remaining from the first layer. So just copying this down from up above, 10 tires from the second layer, and then the new layer that we just purchased goes on the bottom. So just copying this right over from here. All right. Next, we're going to sell 18 tires. So because we have 3 layers here, we're starting at the top. There's only 4 in this layer, so we're going to sell those 4. Then we're just going to keep counting down into the layers until we get to 18. So the next layer has 10 in it. So that means so far we've accounted for 14 of the 18. So the next 4 have to come from the bottom layer here for $80 each. So 4 times 80 is 320. And then that means that we have, since we started with 14 of those and we're saying that 4 of those were just sold, that leaves us with 10 left from that bottom layer, right? So 80, so 14 minus the 4 that were sold leaves us 10 remaining. So 10 times 80 is 800, okay? So now we've got a schedule here that walks through, we've got, okay, here's everything we purchased. We purchased 24 tires and the total value of the ones we purchased was 780 plus 1120 for a total of 1900 in purchases during the period. Now, here we sold 12 tires and 18 tires, right? So 12, 16, 28, let's see, wait, so 16, 26, 30 tires we sold, sorry. So 30 tires were sold, and then we have to add up all of these costs here to figure out what was our cost of goods sold. So we're going to add up the 780 from the first sale, plus the 260, plus the 780, plus the 320 from the second sale. So our total amount that went to cost of goods sold here is 2140. I'll just make this visible so you can see what the formula was there. So 2140. And then at the end here, they want to know, what do we have left? Just that 10 tires, we already calculated this out. So I'm just copying down what was left, 10 tires at 800. Okay, so that was our total here. Now they're saying, okay, what is our gross profit? Okay, well, to get to gross profit, just like in our last chapter, we need sales less cost of goods sold to arrive at gross profit. So our cost of goods sold, we just calculated, that's 2140. The sales, we're going to have to figure out based on this information here, right? So we had 2 sales, 12 tires that were sold for $88 each, and 18 tires that were sold also at $88 on the 29th. So that gets us to total sales here, 1,056 plus 1,584, 2,640 in sales. So then if we take the 2,640 in sales minus the cost of goods sold of 2,140, that gets us to gross profit of $500 under this method. All right. Okay, so the next section is the LIFO method, all right? So the LIFO method is, LIFO stands for last in, first out, okay? So what that means is that we sell the most recent items first when we are doing our inventory calculations. So we basically go the opposite direction. We're going to start off with the exact same inventory method. So quantity of 16, cost of $65, and I should have left that up here, I guess. So 1,040 for beginning inventory, just like we did before, okay? And then again, our first purchase is exactly the same. Now we're going to copy down these in the same order that we did before. So oldest stuff on top. I'm just adding it in order here of purchase. All right, so this part is exactly the same as under our first FIFO method that we had up here, right? Because we've just had purchases. Here's where it's going to be a little bit different, right? So we've got these 2 layers here, and this time we're doing LIFO method, which is last in, first out. Again, I hope you watched the LIFO video. If not, please go back and watch that video so you know what we're doing here. The most recent ones we purchased are the first ones that get charged to cost of goods sold here. All right, so under this LIFO method, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put first the bottom layer. All right, so the bottom layer, the newest stuff, is 10 tires at $78 for 780 total. Okay, now we sold 12 tires here, so this is only accounted for 10 of those. So we need to go from the bottom up on this method for LIFO. So the next two will come out of that layer there. So 2 tires at $65. So a total of $130. And so that means that we started with 16 in this layer. Now we've sold 2, so there's only 14 left. Okay, so 14 times 65 is 910. All right, so, and now we've got another purchase. All right, so this purchase here, 14 tires, $80 each. That's $1,120. All right, so now we're going to put these again in, we keep these in age order, okay, so that we can always tell the ones on the bottom are the newest things that are purchased. So we had 14 at 65 left over from before. Now we're adding 14 at 80 that we just purchased. All right. Now, our last sale we have here on May 29th, 18 tires. That's, again, the sale price here, not what the cost of those tires was. But we're selling 18 tires and we want to start on this bottom layer. So we're going to sell 14 tires, our most recent purchased ones. And then we're going to sell the remaining 4 tires are going to come from this next layer here. So $65. So 4 times 65 is 260. All right, so that leaves us then, we had 14 in this layer, we just sold another 4, so that leaves us 10 at 65 left, okay? All right, so again, we purchased 24 tires, and the overall purchases, same number as before, 1,900. And again, we sold 12 plus 18, which is 30 tires. Now we have to re-add our cost of goods sold though. So 780 plus 130 plus 1,120 plus 260 from this cost under our cost of goods sold here. All right, and then our sales are going to be, again, the same sales we had above. I should have left those here. So 30 tires we sold, all of which were sold at $88. So $26.40 for sales, less $22.90. Gets us gross profit of $350. Okay. So we'll get there in a second. I'm going to mark, okay, my total cost, I didn't record that. That's $2,290 with 10 left, valued at $650. And then gross profit then, which we just calculated, was $350. Okay. All right. And then this next part, part 3 is in the next video. So so if you're done working for now, make sure you hit save. Otherwise, go ahead and continue on the next video, which will go through the weighted average method.